Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see Viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Now here's everybody's favorite, Miss Pink. I see Miss Pink left a little bit of a treat there. She's been out and about, out of her log for the most part during the day. That's only a 50-watt bulb, so it doesn't provide all that much heat. But she's got, a good heat gradient. That heat panel is quite hot, and it's some distance away, and inside of her log is probably nice and toasty. But as usual, she's in a position that makes feeding somewhat difficult. A lot of times she will be out here in the open where it's much easier to feed her. You can watch her pupil dilate, which means that something of interest has caught her eye. Also, when you piss her off. Oh! Are you hungry? Do you want this rat, huh? Alright, well, that was an indication that I should stop babbling and feed her, because she was impatient. Okay, here, take that. Just, I always try to give it so they don't get the forceps jammed down their throat. We'll see if we can do pink cam here. That's about 6 inches from her nose, and that's about as close as I'm going to get, even though she's got that rat in her mouth, and she's not likely to let go. But, I don't want to weird her out and stuff. Now that her mouth is filled, I will, let's take her temperature and see how she's doing. So right there on her back is 76.5 degrees. The heat panel is 105 degrees. Right on her beanie is 77 degrees, so yeah, she's a nice temperature. She could certainly get warmer if she wanted to, but I think she's particularly happy where she is. A lot of times she'll crawl out here on the floorboards, which is 77 degrees, so overall a pretty good temperature for her. These are deep forest snakes that don't see a whole lot of sunlight and stuff. So while she's devouring that dead but now bleeding rat, I am going to clean and change her water bowl and move on to feeding other animals at the lair. Things have been thrown off quite a bit by having Christmas and New Year's on a Saturday and Sunday, because we don't handle the snakes on holidays like that, because you wouldn't want to take a bite and have to go to the hospital during the holidays, where all the top doctors and certainly the medical toxicologists I work with in case of bite, they're home with their families, and you don't want to do something stupid on a holiday. You don't want to do something stupid with these guys at any point of the day or night. But it's a good idea to avoid working with your venomous collection on days that are holidays, as well as days where the weather is particularly bad here in the Northeast. Very cold temperatures, or possibly snow or sleet or inclement weather. That makes getting to the emergency room if you have to, more difficult and challenging. On top of that, it will make the delivery of antivenom, if you need it, a lot more difficult and challenging. Fortunately, I've got 15 vials of South African polyvalent, which would be used for a gaboon bite or any of the large Bitis. The problem is that that would probably only be a starter dose. Oh, well, look, you can see her trachea is wide open, allowing her to breathe. Now she shuts it while she sort of works the rat down the hatch, so she can open and close that so she doesn't get any fluid in. It's sort of like, in human terms, your epiglottis. Your epiglottis is a structure that's down in your windpipe. It closes the opening to your bronchial tubes that go to your lungs when you're swallowing. So when you swallow food or water, it does not accidentally, quote unquote, go down the wrong pipe. Subsequently, you know, when the epiglottis is closed, things go down your esophagus and not down your windpipe. And this way you're not aspirating material that you should not be aspirating. Is that very tasty there, Pink? Huh? That was it was pretty shocking of her to lunge out of the log. She got really fed up with me babbling. So I'll let her finish this off as she takes another breath. Ooh, take a couple deep breaths while you hold it so you can swallow your rat. So there we go, some gaboon or snake oral anatomy. We also know that there's some rather large fangs in there, which we're trying to stay out of the way. There's the fang all sheathed up, and the rat is going down the hatch. So we'll back off, let her finish that up, get her water dish while she's still sort of occupied, and move on. It's our Bitis quadalis, horned adder from South Africa. They come in quite a variety of colors and patterns and stuff. Oh, and she tapped it. So we'll just let her do her thing. There were some little flies, not carrion flies, flying around her cage, and I found a cute little baby jumping spider was on my desk, and I was worried I was going to accidentally squish it. So I bought the little baby jumping spider up here, and I let it go in the cage, and now I don't see the little flies anymore. So hopefully the little blighter had a good meal and took care of a problem for me. And we don't kill any spiders in the house. We like spiders, although I don't keep them as some people out there do. But we like them, and we don't mind having them around. Hello there. This is supposedly the male quadalis, although I'm probably not going to breed them, simply because the females have this very bad habit of eating the males after they mate. And at this size, it could get stuck in her digestive tract and block her trachea, compress her heart and lungs, and may end up dying. I've had snakes try to eat each other and end up both of them dying. So I'm not sure that I will breed these, but they're certainly very, very neat snakes to have around.
Well, also, aren't the babies really tiny?
Yeah, the babies are like little threads. You know, they're smaller than even the Equus babies that come out of the eggs, or maybe about the same size. And then trying to feed these little tiny minute babies that probably eat mostly invertebrates in the wild is a real problem. You have to think about, you know, how you're going to feed these little babies once you produce them. And you know, our general answer is that, you know, we take and we cannulate feed them for a certain length of time until they grow some size, and then we can switch them to something else. But, you know, pinning little tiny, you know, Equus is dangerous enough. You see me pin the Lessus under island pit vipers to get them feeding and stuff, and they've all switched over to geckos now, thank goodness, so I don't have to do that on a weekly basis. But I was also going to say that the horned adders have your typical Bitis type venom. Causes necrosis, causes pain, swelling, causes coagulopathies, and there really isn't an effective antivenom against these, so you just sort of have to treat the symptoms and hope that you don't lose your whole finger and maybe just part of it. So these are something you definitely don't also want to take a bite from. So we, of course, always treat these guys with respect and stay out of their way. That's why you see me open the cage with a hook instead of my fingers. Although I used to do that early in my career. If you watch some of my early videos, I used to pull cages with my hands, but I was expecting to strike, so I got at a dodge because everybody likes drama and stuff. But, you know, I've decided not to take the so dramatic route and just, you know, work with the animals in a safer way. I don't need to take a bite and visit the hospital and go through all that hassle.